am Amelia, and this is the story of how my former boss, Richard Sterling, CEO of Sterling Solutions, made the biggest mistake of his life by stealing my idea for Project Zenith. It wasn't just any idea. It was a revolutionary AI-driven data analytics platform I had poured 2 years of my life into. I remember the day vividly. I was in his office, presenting my meticulously crafted proposal, brimming with excitement. Richard, a man whose charm was as thin as his empathy, listened intently, nodding, even offering encouraging murmurs. He promised to champion it. 2 weeks later, he presented my Project Zenith to the board as his own, securing a massive bonus and a promotion for himself, while I received a congratulatory email for contributing to the team's success. The bitter taste of betrayal lingered. That evening, as I stood in the desolate office, a venomous whisper echoed in my mind, a line Richard had once sneered at a former colleague. "If you want something done right, do it yourself." I resigned the next morning. His arrogant smirk as I handed in my notice. "Good luck out there, Amelia. The market's tough when you're not under my wing," became the fuel for my relentless fire. He thought he had clipped my wings. He had no idea he had just taught me to build my own rocket. My departure wasn't just a resignation. It was an act of defiance, a public declaration of war against the complacency and corruption of Sterling Solutions. Richard, true to form, dismissed it as a fit of pique from an emotional woman. He even had the audacity to suggest I might reconsider after a cooling-off period. He had no concept of the fire he had ignited within me. The injustice of him receiving accolades and a bonus for my brainchild, while I was relegated to a footnote, seared itself into my soul. It wasn't just the idea. It was the 2 years of sleepless nights, the intellectual property, the sheer effort that he had so casually appropriated. My entire professional identity had been tied to Project Zenith, and he had stripped it away. The stakes were monumental. If I failed, I would not only validate his dismissal of me but also lose every last shred of my self-worth. But the thought of him celebrating his ill-gotten gains was an acid that burned away any doubt. I vowed that the market would indeed be tough, but not for me. For him. The first few weeks were a blur of raw emotion and furious activity. I converted my spare bedroom into a makeshift office, fueled by instant coffee and an unyielding desire for vindication. My savings were meager, enough for perhaps 6 months of runway if I lived frugally. The biggest challenge wasn't just replicating Project Zenith. It was doing it ethically, with integrity, and making it even better. I had to prove that the idea's brilliance wasn't tied to Sterling Solutions' name, but to my vision. I named my nascent company Aether Analytics, signifying a clear, innovative, and boundless approach, unlike the stagnant, self-serving culture of my former workplace. The choice of name was deliberate. Aether, the pure, untainted substance. My emotional core, the pain of his betrayal, transformed into a relentless drive for innovation. I wasn't just starting a business. I was building a monument to my resilience, brick by painstaking brick, designed to cast a long, cold shadow over Sterling Solutions. Richard's complacency was my greatest weapon. He genuinely believed that Project Zenith's success was due to his leadership and Sterling Solutions' established reputation, not the intrinsic value of my work. He was too busy basking in the glow of his bonus to consider that I, Amelia, a mere data scientist, could pose a threat. He even leveraged my successful presentation, claiming he had mentored me to secure more budget for his project. This arrogance blinded him to the possibility of genuine competition. Meanwhile, I was recruiting a small, incredibly talented team of former colleagues who had also been disillusioned by Sterling Solutions' toxic culture. They believed in my vision, not Richard's empty promises. The high stakes meant every coding sprint, every late-night brainstorm, felt like a strategic move in a chess game against a complacent, overconfident king. The battlefield was the market, and I was armed with nothing but innovation and a burning desire for justice. My network, painstakingly built over a decade, proved to be invaluable. I reached out to former mentors and industry contacts, not asking for handouts, but for advice and introductions. One such contact, a seasoned venture capitalist named Evelyn Reed, saw the fire in my eyes and the brilliance in my refined concept for Aether Analytics. She knew my capabilities from past collaborations and was aware of Richard's reputation for taking credit. The twist: Evelyn was a fierce advocate for ethical business practices and had a personal vendetta against corporate bullies like Richard. She offered seed funding not just for the idea but for me. Her investment was a lifeline, but it also came with immense pressure. I now had other people's money and trust riding on my shoulders. It transformed my personal revenge into a shared mission, giving me a profound sense of responsibility. I wasn't just fighting for myself anymore. I was fighting for everyone who had been underestimated and undermined. The development of Aether Analytics' flagship product was a grueling, intense period. We weren't just rebuilding Project Zenith. We were improving it, adding features Richard hadn't even considered. My team, small but fiercely loyal, worked tirelessly, driven by a shared vision and a collective disdain for corporate theft. The irony was palpable. We were building a superior product with a fraction of Sterling Solutions' budget, purely through grit and genuine passion. The biggest challenge was maintaining secrecy. Richard had powerful connections, and any whisper of Aether Analytics replicating Project Zenith could lead to legal action, even if his claim was baseless. We worked under NDAs in a discreet co-working space, avoiding all social media footprints. The constant threat of discovery added a layer of thrilling suspense to every coding sprint. My emotional core, once fueled by raw anger, evolved into a steely resolve to create something undeniably better, a beacon of integrity in a cynical industry. The target was obvious: Quantum Dynamics, Sterling Solutions' biggest client. They were a tech giant, notoriously demanding, and their existing contract with Sterling Solutions for data analytics was up for renewal in 6 months. I knew Richard would be complacent, banking on their long-standing relationship. This was my strategic beachhead. My plan was audacious: develop a working prototype that not only matched Project Zenith's capabilities but surpassed them, then present it to Quantum Dynamics with an offer too good to refuse. The financial implications were immense. Winning Quantum Dynamics would instantly legitimize Aether Analytics and provide the capital to scale. Losing it meant immediate failure. The high stakes energized me. I spent hours analyzing Quantum Dynamics' pain points, their unfulfilled needs under Sterling Solutions, preparing a pitch that would not just address their current demands but anticipate their future ones, something Richard never bothered to do. The discovery phase was crucial. I couldn't just walk into Quantum Dynamics. I needed an introduction. I leveraged Evelyn Reed's network again, securing a meeting with Sarah Chen, Quantum Dynamics' head of innovation. The twist was that Sarah had also worked with Richard in the past and found him profoundly frustrating due to his lack of genuine technical understanding and reliance on subordinates for all actual work. She was open to new ideas but incredibly skeptical of startups. My emotional investment in this meeting was intense. This wasn't just a sales pitch. It was my chance to prove that true innovation stemmed from passionate individuals, not from bloated corporations resting on stolen laurels. I knew my pitch had to be perfect not just technically, but emotionally compelling, reflecting the genuine integrity I had poured into Aether Analytics. It was a subtle, psychological battle as much as a business one. The moment of truth arrived. My first pitch to Quantum Dynamics. I stood in their imposing boardroom, the same room where Richard had often boasted of his achievements. I felt a surge of adrenaline but also a deep sense of calm. I didn't mention Richard or Sterling Solutions directly. My presentation was purely about the superior capabilities of Aether Analytics. I demonstrated our prototype, showcasing its intuitive interface, its enhanced predictive accuracy, and its customizable modules. Features Richard had dismissed as unnecessary bells and whistles when they were my ideas. Sarah Chen watched, her expression unreadable. I poured my heart into it, not just presenting data but sharing the vision of what true, ethical data analytics could achieve. The stakes were incredibly high, and I knew this single presentation could make or break everything. Every slide, every demo, every word carried the weight of my future. Sarah Chen's reaction was a slow burn. She asked pointed, intelligent questions, dissecting every aspect of our platform, pushing me to my technical limits. I met her challenge with confidence, demonstrating my deep understanding of the technology. The meeting extended for hours. Then came the twist. She revealed that Sterling Solutions had already presented their project Zenith, and it had significant flaws she had noticed, particularly in its scalability. She subtly hinted that it seemed incomplete. My heart almost leaped out of my chest. Richard's version was indeed incomplete because he hadn't fully understood the architectural nuances of my design. This was my opening. I calmly explained how Aether Analytics had already addressed those very issues, showing her our robust, scalable framework. Her skepticism began to melt into genuine interest, and then a flicker of excitement. The conversation shifted from a pitch to a collaborative discussion, a silent acknowledgement of my genuine expertise. The next few weeks were a flurry of follow-up meetings, technical deep dives, and rigorous security audits with Quantum Dynamics. They were impressed, but hesitant to abandon Sterling Solutions entirely due to inertia and existing integration. This was where the revenge with heart came in. I wasn't just trying to beat Richard. I was offering a better solution that provided genuine value. I focused on building trust, demonstrating Aether Analytics' agility and responsiveness, something a behemoth like Sterling Solutions couldn't match. I knew their pain points, the sluggish support, the cookie-cutter solutions. I tailored every aspect of my proposal to address their specific needs, showing them that we were a partner, not just a vendor. The emotional core was palpable. I was proving that integrity and genuine client focus could win against corporate politicking. The constant pressure was exhilarating, pushing me to exceed even my own expectations. The final negotiation was tense. Richard, realizing his contract with Quantum Dynamics was truly at risk, had suddenly become aggressive, offering last-minute concessions. Quantum Dynamics, in turn, leveraged both offers to get the best deal. I had anticipated this. My financial advisor, Felix, had helped me model several scenarios. The twist was that my initial offer was already significantly lower than Sterling Solutions, thanks to my lean operational structure and lack of corporate bloat. But I had one more card to play. I knew Richard's pricing strategy. He always included hidden fees and inflated service charges. My offer was transparent, all-inclusive. I walked into that final meeting, not with desperation, but with calm confidence. I was prepared to go lower, but not to compromise my value. This was the moment where my preparation would truly shine, and Richard's corners would be exposed. Our final offer, I stated, my voice steady, is $100,000 less than Sterling Solutions' current proposal for a superior, fully customized, and transparent service package for the next 3 years. The room fell silent. Sarah Chen's eyes widened slightly, betraying a hint of surprise. Richard, who was on a video call, he always avoided in-person final negotiations, choked on his coffee. His image on the large screen froze mid-choke. It was a beautiful, accidental moment of poetic justice. I had meticulously calculated this, knowing his overheads and his desperation. My lean startup, Aether Analytics, could afford to undercut him significantly while still turning a healthy profit. The emotional core was the pure, unadulterated satisfaction of delivering the kill shot. The stakes were delivered, and the client, Quantum Dynamics, visibly shifted in their seats, realizing the undeniable value I was presenting. The fallout was immediate and spectacular. Quantum Dynamics, after a brief internal huddle, formally accepted Aether Analytics' offer. Richard, still on the frozen video call, slowly unfroze, his face an alarming shade of purple. "This is preposterous. Amelia, you can't possibly deliver. This is predatory," he shrieked, his voice distorted through the conference system. Sarah Chen, usually reserved, actually smiled. "We believe Aether Analytics has demonstrated superior innovation and a more competitive, transparent proposal, Richard. The decision is final." She then muted his feed. The immediate sense of empowerment was overwhelming. It wasn't just a business win. It was a personal vindication. I had taken his biggest client with my idea and made him watch. The revenge was sweet, firm, and entirely deserved. It was the moment I transformed from his emotional woman into his direct competitor and his conqueror. The news spread like wildfire through the industry. Richard's reputation, already shaky, took a nosedive. The words stole and undersold were whispered in every corner. Quantum Dynamics released a press statement praising Aether Analytics for its fresh approach and groundbreaking technology. This public endorsement was priceless. It not only legitimized my company overnight but also cast a long, unflattering shadow over Sterling Solutions. Other clients began to quietly review their contracts with Richard. He tried to spin it, claiming I had used unethical tactics, but the transparency of my deal and the public knowledge of his past behavior made his claims fall flat. My emotional core was now a mix of satisfaction and genuine excitement for the future. The revenge was not just about bringing him down, but about lifting myself and my team up, proving that integrity could truly triumph in a cutthroat world. The unexpected twist. Richard, desperate to salvage his reputation, tried to poach members of my team, offering exorbitant salaries. He fundamentally misunderstood their loyalty. My team had left Sterling Solutions because of him. When he approached them, they not only refused but forwarded his offers to me, along with scathing critiques of his character. This was an incredible validation, a testament to the culture of trust and respect we had built at Aether Analytics. It revealed the depth of his desperation and his inability to learn from his mistakes. He believed everyone was motivated by money just like him. My team proved him wrong, demonstrating that shared vision and a positive work environment were far more valuable. This deepened my emotional investment. My success was now a collective triumph, a stark contrast to his solitary, self-serving fall. 3 months into our contract with Quantum Dynamics, Aether Analytics delivered beyond expectations. The platform was robust, the support was stellar, and Sarah Chen was singing our praises to everyone in her network. The impact was tangible. Our revenue soared, and we secured 2 more significant clients, smaller than Quantum Dynamics, but prestigious nonetheless. We moved into a beautiful, spacious office, a far cry from my spare bedroom. I looked out at my team, working diligently, laughing, collaborating. This was the real victory, not just Richard's defeat, but the thriving, positive environment we had created. My revenge had a heart. It wasn't about pure destruction, but about proving that ethical innovation could flourish. The dramatic style of the journey was transforming into a story of sustainable, meaningful success. Richard's downfall accelerated. Sterling Solutions, heavily reliant on quantum dynamics, started experiencing severe financial strain. Key talent began to leave, citing a lack of vision and toxic management. His attempts to replicate Aether Analytics' success with new, hastily developed products failed spectacularly. His public image was in tatters, painted as an outdated, cutthroat executive who couldn't adapt. The emotional core here was bittersweet. While I felt vindicated, I also recognized the tragedy of a man consumed by his own ego, who destroyed his empire by failing to value talent and integrity. My triumph wasn't born of cruelty, but of proving a better way. I realized my revenge had become less about him and more about the positive legacy I was building. The biggest hook moment came during an industry conference. I was a keynote speaker, talking about the future of AI analytics and ethical innovation. Richard was also there, a forgotten figure in the back row, visibly shrunken, looking older than his years. He actually approached me after my speech, not with anger, but with a desperate, almost pathetic plea. "Amelia," he whispered, "I need your help. Sterling Solutions is collapsing. Can you buy us out? You can have Project Zenith back, officially." He was begging, the very fate he had prophesied for me. It was a surreal moment, the ultimate reversal of fortunes. My emotional response was complex. Not triumph, but a quiet, firm resolve. I had won. I looked at him, truly seeing him for the first time without the lens of anger or fear. He was a shell of his former arrogant self. "Richard," I said, my voice calm, "Aether Analytics is thriving. We don't need to buy what we've already built better. And I don't buy broken companies or broken promises." I offered him no pity, but also no cruelty. Just the cold, hard truth of consequences. My resolution was clear. No undoing the past, no giving him a lifeline. He had made his bed. The emotional core was an overwhelming sense of closure. The years of hurt, the betrayal, it all culminated in this moment, not with a bang, but with a quiet, dignified refusal. My revenge was complete, and it had left me unburdened, not bitter. Aether Analytics continued its meteoric rise. We expanded our team, launched new products, and became a leader in ethical AI. My story, now widely known, became an inspiration, a testament to resilience and integrity. I was frequently invited to speak at universities, sharing my journey, emphasizing the importance of valuing ideas and people. This transformation from wronged employee to industry leader was the ultimate vindication. The ultimate irony. Project Zenith, Richard's stolen brainchild, was eventually deprioritized at Sterling Solutions and withered into obsolescence. His attempt to build it without my true vision and leadership failed completely. It was a silent testament to the fact that ideas, no matter how brilliant, need the right mind and heart to truly flourish. My triumph was built on his intellectual bankruptcy. My relationship with Evelyn Reed grew into a powerful partnership. She became my mentor, my confidant, and a true friend. Her belief in me was pivotal, and together, we launched an initiative to fund female-led tech startups, specifically those facing discrimination or intellectual property theft. My revenge had transformed into a legacy of empowerment. The satisfying resolution came when I stood on the stage at the Innovator of the Year Awards, accepting the top honor. My acceptance speech didn't mention Richard. It was about my team, my mentors, and the power of ethical innovation. It was about proving that true success is built on integrity, not on stolen ideas. I ended my speech by quoting a line from my favorite poet. "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Richard's betrayal had been that wound, and through it I had found my own light, forging a path that was brighter, stronger, and infinitely more fulfilling. My victory was not just mine, but a win for every underdog. The revenge with heart truly blossomed. I developed a mentorship program within Aether Analytics, specifically for junior data scientists, ensuring they felt valued, heard, and protected. I vowed that no one under my leadership would ever experience the kind of intellectual theft I had endured. A year after winning Quantum Dynamics, I hosted a celebration for my team at a rooftop venue overlooking the city. We toasted not to revenge, but to hard work, integrity, and shared success. The feeling of camaraderie and genuine achievement was intoxicating, a stark contrast to the hollow victories of my past. The final, quiet vindication arrived in an email from Sarah Chen. She informed me that Quantum Dynamics was extending our contract early and terminating all remaining minor services from Sterling Solutions. She specifically cited Amelia's exceptional leadership and Aether Analytics' unparalleled support. The cycle was complete. I sometimes saw articles about Sterling Solutions' continued struggles, but they no longer stirred anger, only a detached sense of purpose. My focus was entirely on Aether Analytics, on innovation, and on making a positive impact on the industry. My former boss had become a cautionary tale, a lesson in what not to be. My journey from a wronged employee to a celebrated CEO was a testament to the power of resilience. I had taken Richard's cruelty and transformed it into the very foundation of my empire. My revenge wasn't a fleeting moment. It was a flourishing legacy. The bitter taste of betrayal had turned into the sweet flavor of triumph. Richard had tried to define me by his actions. I defined myself by my response, proving that the toughest lessons can build the strongest leaders. The idea was mine. The company was mine. The victory was absolutely, unequivocally mine.